Your parties are the hottest ticket around.
They won't even give me a permit for the parties, man. They don't want me to throw the parties no more. But we ain't gonna stop. We gonna keep on having fun, bringing people together from all walks of life. You're gonna hear about my parties. They're gonna be shutting them down. They're gonna probably be arresting me, doing all types of crazy things just because we wanna have a good time.
We need alcohols.
Right.
Alcohols.
Right. Not just one alcohol.
Alcohols.
Right, just
Plurals.
different blend. You need the ladies, you need the booze. Right.
Check it out, you need a lot of heat. A lot of heat. Yeah.
Heat. You mean that physically the place has to be hot?
You don't have no air conditioning.
No air conditioning.
No.
Why is that?
Heat affects the alcohol, and it also affects, like, everybody gets a little bit more comfortable and loose. Builds up a nice little sweat.
That just sounds disgusting. What are you doing?
Depends on the way you look at it.
Breaking news tonight, Sean Diddy Combs has been arrested in a Manhattan hotel this evening after a grand jury indicted the music mogul.
Fueled sex parties, they're called freak-offs. Diddy lured women into his world and then manipulated them to participate in highly orchestrated sex acts with male prostitutes while Diddy watched and pleasured himself.
Women were procured along with male actors or participants for live sex shows like they used to have 50 years ago in San Francisco and other red light districts around the country. And they were putting this on in private mansions, and there were certain people that are being protected who were present for these performances where they could get their freak on. And you notice the multiple occasions they mentioned Diddy masturbating while watching this. So if there are other witnesses, I'm sure he's not the only one doing something.
People from all walks of life. Ron Perlman talking to Jay-Z. Jay-Z talking to, you know what I'm saying? It just goes on and on, you know, it's just like people from all walks of life connecting and getting together.
Where you at? You freak out peoples. They coming to get you. Diddy's singing right now. He's singing high notes, low notes, and that nigga was there too, and so was she, and that motherfucking senator was there too. Clive was there, yeah.
You see something. Now you see now. You know that, don't you?
I thought.
No, so, you know what I'm saying? That you done up now, you know that, don't you?
The feds say, hey, yo, listen here. We got you on, hey, buddy, we got you on this tape, and girl looked like she was pretty young. We're not gonna show it, but we need you to come and testify against Brother Love, P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, you know, Sean Combs. Because if he had 250 tapes all over, 250 cameras all over the house, somebody got caught stealing a cookie out the cookie jar. It could be your favorite pastor. It could be your favorite politician. They didn't think they was being watched, and Brother Love was watching.
Who are you talking about, Mr. Brown? What they?
They. Kareem Akbar. That's right, the educated brother from the bank. He's the real head of the CMB. The brains behind the whole thing. This thing is bigger than Nino Brown, and I got a list of proof. If I'm going down, I'm taking a whole lot of people.
You should have never sued the liquor company. That's where you f***ed up. You f***ed up. They don't give a f*** about you tearing up booty holes. You f***ed up when you sued the liquor company, because the liquor company is owned by the biggest conglomerate on earth, the BlackRock people. You done bit off the hand that was feeding you, and now you done chop both your feet and your hand off, and your head's coming down.
You have the experience with major corporations like me, my particular experience with Beam Centauri. It was great in the beginning. It's great for us to work for them. It is not so cool when you start to own things. You see what I'm saying? So I made a lot of money with them too. Like, there's a point, they did a deal that mirrored what Puffy's deal with Diageo was for Ciroc. So he didn't have ownership of that at any point, but he was getting a lot of money, like almost like $60 million a year at one point. So you see him go to De Leon is when you see him have some issues. And these people have really strong relationships. Don't think that the civil case doesn't turn into a criminal case faster because he's making them uncomfortable. That's a big part of it. The spirits business is not governed.
You was making money with Ciroc. Just shut the f*** up. You just thought your ego got out of whack because you was controlling everything at them freak parties. Now you think you control the hand that's feeding you. You stupid mother. He sued the liquor company May 2023. November 2023, Cassie come up with the lawsuit.
What they did was, prior to the raid, they reviewed that civil lawsuit. And that civil lawsuit told Cassie's civil lawsuit, and found that there was some criminal activity in those lawsuits. And once they find the criminal activity in those, they could bring them in. The Southern District of New York, they took it upon themselves and put on that raid and everything based on the information they found in Cassie lawsuit and the information they found in Little Rod lawsuit.
According to a lawsuit filed by Chicago native and musical prodigy Rodney Jones, aka Little Rod, Sean Combs hired Jones to produce songs. Jones was then led into a twisted, rigged music industry den of iniquity fueled by underage trafficking, home grooming abuse.
Mr. Jones has secured hundreds of hours of footage and audio recordings of Mr. Combs, his staff, and his guests engaging in serious illegal activity.
The lawsuit reads, quote, Mr. Combs had hidden cameras in every room of his home. These individuals were recorded without their knowledge and consent. Mr. Combs possesses compromising footage of every person who has attended his freak-off parties and his house parties, end quote.
They didn't raid, they searched with a warrant his premises on the West Coast, right? They searched his premises on the East Coast in Florida, right? On the same property that the premises was located that they searched in Florida, he had a second mansion. They didn't touch that one. Why not? And when they walk out of there, they got a small trash bag and they have a medium-sized cardboard box. What was it they seized that would fit into those items? I have a sneaking suspicion from my background in criminal defense that what they seized was some evidence that was very incriminating to other people.
And what they seem to have gotten is a lot of recordings that they confiscated, even though quite a few people are mentioned indirectly. Only one person got indicted. Why is the U.S. government taking it upon itself to do what it's doing, where it becomes very obvious if you read between the lines, they're trying to protect somebody instead of prosecute them as co-actors in this mess, and why they're trying to do what they're doing to silence somebody who might expose who those protected people are. And you have to understand, who is this that's likely to be going to these parties, and who is it involved that it is an entertainer? Is there some kind of implication that would influence that person's campaign? And we already know what kind of freak she is already.
But all this is bigger than Diddy. It's bigger than Diddy, bro. Because you know who else they was doing investigation on during that whole time period? It was the mayor and the politicians in New York City. They turn around and give him the key to the city.
The bad boy of entertainment is getting the key to the city from the bad boy of politics. Give your hand together to Sean P. Diddy Combs, our brother. Giving it up for him. Show him some love.
Eric Adams has been indicted on multiple charges, including conspiracy and fraud. Also in that umbrella is this idea of an unregistered foreign agent.
Prosecutors say for years he traded favors with foreign countries, including Turkey, in exchange for political influence.
My fellow New Yorkers, it is now my belief that the federal government intends to charge me with crimes. If so, these charges will be entirely false, based on lies.
Mayor Eric Adams was in court today pleading not guilty to federal bribery charges.
And his legal team says the accusations are political.
This issue will destroy New York City. We're getting 10,000 migrants a month. Now we're getting people from all over the globe have made their minds up that they're going to come through the southern part of the border and come into New York City.
To all black people in this city, the things that you have done are unconscionable. This is ridiculous.
The mayor is facing up to 45 years in prison if convicted on all the counts.
This investigation has been going on since he stepped foot into the mayor's office.
They indicted the mayor.
Yeah, it's getting crazy, man.
Last month, they called me and said if I wanted the key to the city. I said, I don't want to be involved with nothing. I said, they offered me, they said, Cam, you want the key? I said, that ain't really up my alley right now. I'm cool with the key to the New York City, man. Yo, word to blood. That's word to everything I love. Yo, Cam, you interested in the key city? I said, I don't want nothing to do with keys to the city, giving them out. The who had previously had them. I don't got nothing to do with the key to the city. I don't got nothing to do with that.
All the mayor people that he brought on here in New York City are all resigning. Because of Mayor Adams and his relationship with Diddy, it brought on the Southern District of New York to start investigating Diddy on civil lawsuits that was put against him. Because the feds is going after all these politicians in New York City.
Somebody important is being or was recorded on these devices, and somebody is being protected. And they're trying to keep this man in to keep his mouth shut so he doesn't tell on anybody.
So that's why they don't want him to get bail, and they want to keep him detained until
Incognito, yeah. And also why I think they alleged international influence, which brings in Homeland Security.
When I was a 18-year-old kid, just wanting to do nothing other than make my mother proud and make Belize proud and do what all of us want to do, be recognized for our talent and take over the world. I was defending him, and he turned around and called witnesses to testify against me, and he contributed. He pretty much sent me to prison.
Sean had a very distinctive voice. He sounded very much like Biggie Smalls. And he was kind of going to be that guy to revive Bad Boy, to put him back in that gangster. And they're all at a nightclub in New York. Jennifer Lopez, Shine, Puff. There's a shooting that happens. A girl gets shot in the face. What winds up happening is Shine takes the rap for having the gun and doing the shooting. Shine gets a pretty substantial prison sentence out of this. I don't know if it was like 10 years or 12 years, but he goes to jail. That's what eventually winds up happening. But before that, like the next day after the shooting, J-Lo shows up at the house and is like irate with Puffy, saying that, she's got a career and this is going to cost her career in movies and this, that, and the other. And he tells her to relax, that he's got it all under control. She said, what do you mean you got it under control? And he's like, Shine's going to take the rap for it. He's going to take the bid. Nobody's going to have to do any time. He's going to admit to having the gun. He's going to admit to being the trigger guy. And she's like, well, what happens if he changes his mind while he's in there? Like if he decides, hey, I'm not going to do all this time. He's like, nobody inside will change their mind. There's too many people that can get to him if they decide to change their mind.
He and I enjoyed this great, intimate relationship of brotherhood. This is someone who destroyed my life and who I forgave and who I moved on, and for the better interest of Belize, because he was in a position at that time to give scholarships and to maybe invest. I would not deny attempting to bring the investment to Belize and to bring the contributions to education to Belize, but don't distort it as if, he and I were bombale. This is someone that destroyed my life.
At the height of your professional relationship, were you aware of these freak-off events, and were you aware of them? Did you have any participation in them?
Oh my goodness, Jules Vasquez.
Were you aware of the freak-offs?
Sir, I had nothing to do with Sean Combs' personal life, no interaction. That level, everything was strictly on a professional level.
Greetings, you polite savages, and welcome to another Tip Talk.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
Ladies, gentlemen, and polite savages, you are now about to hear tales from the dark side of entertainment, the dark side of Diddy. politicians, entertainment, and the good old-fashioned Hollywood complex syndrome coming right at you. As always, the only thing we can promise is to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth as we see it. So there's nothing else left to do but get on into it. Are you ready? Let's go.
The deeper you research this story, go down deeper and deeper down the rabbit hole, it gets more sinister, darker, and more insidious. So was Diddy the main power broker, the guy that was the mastermind behind the scenes? Was his connection to Eric Adams somehow shed light that Eric Adams may have played a bigger part in this? Or was it really two unconnected events that coincidentally brought both men to be indicted and to have the media spotlight on them and their alleged crimes? The correlation that we can infer, that we can connect dots, is that Eric Adams was working with a foreign country. Diddy himself had connections to people in foreign places.
And Diddy took issue with Diego, the De Leon tequila liquor, Puffy's brand. They described it to their customer base as if it was an inner city, urban, quote unquote, ghetto, hip hop type of liquor. And Puffy took issue with that because he said, I'm a global icon. I'm a hip hop mogul. Don't limit my product just to black people. And by doing that, you're dissuading white people and non-blacks from buying my liquor. You're cutting my sales low. And I think you're doing it on purpose because you don't want De Leon tequila to outsell all your other European controlled brands.
We see pictures with Diddy with him and the royal family members, where it brings up this, I'll have to admit it, sensationalist theory that possibly the royals are somehow connected with this, as well as United States politicians. And the main connection is, the focal point, is the liquor company that Diddy had a deal with.
Diego got upset with Puff, British-based company. They said, you done already made $1 billion off of us. How dare you sue us and try to make a few more billion off of us? Diego and Puff settled out of court in January 2024. Puffy's homes are raided in March. They operate in 180 out of 194 countries in the world. You are not going to convince me that 1 + 1 does not equal 2.
Now we know that power, business, politics, entertainment, drugs all go hand in hand. Using these different factors, one is able to gain more power, more resources, money, more influence, more status. But when your star is shining too bright and your ego starts to get ahead of yourself, where all the karma, where all the bad things that you've done, the lies and secrets that you try to cover up, the unsolved murder cases, the booty gooning, booty bandit, strong arm grooming, and abusing blackmail will all come to head as karma comes to rear her ugly head and exact punishment for all your misdeeds, just like in the case with Diddy.
He settles with Cassie in 24 hours. Diego is watching this. When Diego decides to settle with Puff outside of court, they did this knowing full well we about to go after you and destroy you. You are messing with the Illuminati. You have no idea who you effing with, Sean Combs. And when Puff was so quick to settle with Cassie, that showed the whole world he was vulnerable. I bet you after they settled with Puff, they picked up the phone and they called King Charles III. And they said, dear monarch, we need you to dial in a favor for us to President Joe Biden. Because this Sean Puffy Combs, this little out of New York City, he think he can go to war with the big boys and not pay the consequences. Sean Puffy Combs, that hip hop king out of New York, he think he can tell white people what to do. He think he gonna rob us for a couple $1 billion and get away with it. It's not going down. Dear King, please make that call on behalf of your citizens. That's what I believe happened.
But there could be a simpler explanation to this. I'm gonna refer to you, Jason Black, the Black Authority.
Adams is going down, and we know that he's going down because just as soon as he was indicted, Guess whose name immediately came up? What? That is not a typo that you see on your screen. Why, none other than former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo is now looking at running for mayor of New York City. The ink on the indictments isn't even dry. And the former governor of New York State is now making it open that he wants to run for mayor. Adams ain't even, he still got the damn marks on his wrist from the handcuffs. Adams hasn't been removed from office. He York Andrew Cuomo from stepping right in and saying, hey, I heard y'all need a mayor.
The lesson is, polite savages, the bottom line is you can't be making enemies with people, organizations, companies with connections to politicians, doing a bunch of dirt, partaking in sexual deviancy, and somehow think you're going to get the upper hand just because you thought that you have blackmail tapes on very powerful people.
Do you believe that Diddy is in danger?
I'm quite sure he's going to expose a lot of people. I don't think it should be a situation like the Epstein thing where they found him hanging from the ceiling and dead.
I'm just wondering who's going to get the money. There's got to be $100 million hit on this. There's a contest in the penitentiary right now. Might just be one of them guards. One of them guards might take the money and do it their damn self. But he a dead man. That's for damn sure. Freak often got told your world up.
True power, true authority, true influence will always have the upper hand in squashing any one person, anybody like Diddy, that they know their place in the hierarchy.
Do you think it's possible he might take his life?
But based on the lifestyle and what he's done and what he's accomplished, if he had to go behind those bars for a lot of years, I think that he may commit suicide. He'd do an Epstein.
Will Diddy survive the night, or will we find him in the news the next morning, where we'll be saying Diddy didn't kill himself?
That's all I got for you, you polite savages. Like and subscribe. Hit us up on all social media networks.
We found true happiness.